Good morning, everyone. So, in the last class, we have seen that flyback converter and forward converter. So, the third isolated converter is push-pull converter. Okay. So, push-pull converter is also an isolated DC-DC converter, which means that the input and the output side it will be separated electrically or physically by using a transformer. Okay. So, in push-pull converter, it will be available even in kilowatt level. Actually, we have seen that in flyback and forward converter, it will be around maximum, it will be around 200 watts. Flyback, it is less only 50 to 100 watts, whereas forward, it will be around 100 to 200 watts. But in the case of push-pull converter, it will be available even in kilowatt level. So this is the major advantage of this push-pull converter. But here one disadvantage is there, that is here transformer it will be a center tap transformer. That is one disadvantage, and another one is the device ratings will be high because the device rating will be twice the voltage of the output magnitude. So in output, if we required around 100 volt, the device rating should be twice of that. That is, device rating should be, if 100 watt means device rating should be around 200 watts. Okay, so like that it should be designed. Okay, so that is a major disadvantage. That is, device rating will be high. Device rating will be twice the voltage of the output magnitude. Okay. So this is the circuit of push-pull converter, push-pull isolated DC-DC converter. Here you can see two switches are the switch 1 and switch 2, and in primary side as well as secondary side it is center tapped only, center tap transformers only. Okay. So in push-pull converter, we can see that two back-to-back working forward converter. This side it is looking like a forward converter, and this side also looking like a forward converter. So two back-to-back working forward converter with the center tapped primary and secondary in an isolating transformer. Okay, primary and secondary both are center tapped. Okay, and the high voltage DC is switched through the center tapped primary of the transformer by two switches. The input is fed to the primary by using two switches SW1 and SW2. Okay, during alternate half cycles. And here one thing you have to note that switch 1 and switch 2 is there. This both switch 1 and switch 2 should not be turned on at same time. Okay, both should not be turned on at same time. It should be turned on alternatively. Okay, both switches should not be on at same time. That have to be noted here. Okay, so the high voltage DC is switched to the center tapped primary of the transformer by two switches SW1 and SW2 during alternate half cycles. And the transformer winding also you can see here that primary and secondary is there. Both are of same winding. So the polarity is same. Here if it is plus means here also it will be plus minus means here also it will be plus minus. Here also plus minus. Here also plus minus. Here both the transformer windings is of both primary and secondary transformer winding is of same direction. So that dot mentioned here is of same direction. So polarity also will be in same direction. Okay. So the transformer winding is of same direction as we have seen in forward converter, but in flyback converter it was in opposite direction. Okay, and the dot mentioned in the figure having same polarity. Okay, so here when the switch is on, we can see switch SW1. When the switch SW1 is on, we can see the equivalent circuit will be looking like this. Okay, here VI is the input voltage. Here the primary winding is the P1. Okay, switch SW1 is on. So here the polarity will be plus minus, then here also it will be plus minus, and here also it will be plus minus. Okay, so here when the switch SW1 is on for a DT time, that polarity will be looking like this, and the diode D1 will be conducting and diode D2 will be reverse bias, because here it is negative polarity, so it will be reverse bias. Here it is positive polarity, so diode D1 will be forward bias, so that current will be reaching and it will be charging the inductor, and the current will be flowing across this load. Okay, understood? So when SW1 is on for a dt time, that polarity across primary and secondary will be as shown in figure, and the diode D1 will be conducting, and the inductor will be charging, and the energy will be, the current direction will be as shown in this figure. Okay, through D1 Lx or S2, like this current will be flowing across the secondary side. Okay, so S1 is on for dt time, the dot of the windings becomes positive with respect to non-dot, and the diode D1 becomes forward bias and D2 will be reverse bias. Thus D1 provides path to output load and the inductor current ILX through the transformer secondary S2. Okay, inductor LS stores energy and it discharges when switch SW1 and SW2 is off. Okay, here in this case, when the switch SW1 is on, the inductor will be storing energy. Okay, and the voltage across inductor Vx, which will be equal to Vs2 minus V0. Vs2 means voltage across this secondary S2. Okay, Vs2 minus V0. Vs2 we can written as Vi into N2 by N1. Vi into N2 by N1 is the Vs2. And also here we can written finally as Lx into delta ILx. This will be increasing current as the inductor is charging, which will be equal to Vs2 minus V0. Vs2 is equal to Vi into N2 divided by N1 minus V0 into this for on time dt of SW1. So into dt, which is equal to equation number 1. So delta ILx will be the rate of increase of inductor Lx current. It will, as the inductor is charging, it will be an increasing current. Okay, dt is the turn on time. Okay, so this is equation number 1. Now we will consider when the switch SW1 is off. When switch SW1 is off, the transformer will be changing its polarity, that is dot and will become negative, and non-dot and will become positive. Same polarity will be inducing across the secondary also. Dot end will be with the negative polarity and non-dot end will be positive polarity. As the result, the diode D1 will be reverse bias and D2 will be conducting. Okay, and here switch SW1 is off, so the inductor Lx will be discharging. Inductor Ls will be discharging like this. So the inductor discharge energy dissipated through the path Lx, then Lx S1, then D2, then Lx, like this it will be discharging is energy stored. Okay, so the output voltage here only V0 is there, so V0 into 1 minus d into t, which is equal to Lx into delta Ilx, which is equal to equation number 2, and delta Ilx will be decreasing current as the inductor is discharging. So equating 1 and 2, usually we got 1 here, and equating 1 and 2, we will be getting Vin into N2 by N1 minus V0 into dt, which is equal to V0 into 1 minus d into t. So V0 by Vin we will get as d into N2 by N1, which is equation number 3. But here we only consider this SW1. Okay, but here SW2 is also there, and also I told that SW1 and SW2 should not be on simultaneously, it should be on alternatively. So SW1 here it will be operating for a dt by 2 time, and SW2 will be operating here for a dt by 2 time. Okay, so the waveform DROM, if it is the total cycle, we can write that SW1 on for a dt time and SW2 on for a dt time. This is the total time period t. So in total time t, SW1 turned on for dt time and SW2 turned on for dt time. For remaining time, both will be SW1 and SW2 will be in off state. So in one cycle, 2 times energy stored in Lx, correct? In one cycle t, 2 times energy will be storing across Lx. So that expression, equation number 3, which we can write it as V0 by Vin is equal to 2 times d into n2 by n. Why this 2 times is because for a total time t, 2 times the inductor is charged. So we can write V0 by Vin which is equal to 2 into d into n2 by n1 for a entire cycle. So this is the expression for the relation between the output voltage and input voltage in push-pull converter, which is equal to 2 into d into n2 by n1. It is depending on the number of turns across primary and secondary and the duty cycle. Okay, so and also one more thing here, I have told about switch SW1 is on and switch SW2 is off. We have to see also when SW2 is on and also both SW1 and SW2 is off. That I will be explaining when I am explaining about the waveform. So here it will be operating in 3 modes. Mode 1 will be switch SW1 is on. When SW1 is on, that we have already seen, supply voltage will come across primary and the diode D1 conducts and the inductor gets charged and the inductor current increases. Flux will be increasing linearly. D1 will be forward bias, D2 will be reverse bias. Voltage across primary will be Vin plus Vin, which is equal Vin plus Vin, which is equal to 2 Vin, which is positive. Okay, so here when switch SW1 is on, voltage across primary will be Vin plus Vin. It will be 2 Vin here in primary side, and also this side polarity will be plus minus. So this dotted end will become positive and non-dotted end will become negative. So as the dotted end become positive, diode D1 conducts, inductor will be charging. Okay, flux will be increasing linearly, current will flow across secondary also. Okay, diode D1 will conduct and diode D2 will be reverse bias. That is what I have written here. Mode 1 when switch is on. Now mode 2, that is shown in this graph also. Switch SW1 will be having 0 when switch SW1 is on. SW1 voltage across SW1 will be 0 and voltage across SW2 will be Vin plus Vin. It will be 2 Vn here in SW2. Across SW2 voltage will be 2 Vn by 2. SW1 it will be 0 and okay, then the inductor current will be increasing as the polarity across secondary will be positive dotted end and non-dotted end will be negative. Diode D1 will be conducting, as the result inductor will be charging. So inductor will be charging from minimum to maximum. Okay, and diode D1 will be conducting, so D1 current will be increasing like this. D2 is reverse bias, so D2 current will be 0. Okay, that is one case when SW1 is on. Now the second case when both is off, both SW1 and SW2 is off. This case we have not discussed previously. Now we will discuss with the help of waveform. So here voltage across SW1 and SW2 will be Vin each, because the energy stored in the primary winding will be dissipating. Okay, so from this figure, when SW1 and SW2 both is off, what about the voltage across this SW1 and SW2? Here Vin will be there, here also Vin will be there. So SW1 will be having Vin voltage, SW2 also will be having Vin voltage. Okay, and also the energy stored across the primary side, it will be dissipating. Okay, so that is what shown here. Both SW across SW1 it will be Vin and SW2 also it will be Vin, and the secondary side also no current will be there. No current will be there induced across secondary side. Okay, no current will be induced across secondary side, but here one thing will be there, inductor will be charged already, so the charge inductor will be discharging. So when the inductor will be discharging, okay, when the inductor will be discharging, it will be having polarity minus plus here. So inductor will be discharging like this. Here you can see it will be coming like this, and from here it is center tap now, so it will be splitting that whole current into two. All current which is passing through the inductor, it will be splitting across to one through S1 and one through S2. So as the result, the total current in inductor, it will be splitting across this secondary side S1 and S2 equally. And what will be happening here, the diode D2 also will be conducting and diode D1 also will be conducting here. Understood? Here, when the switch SW1 SW2 is off, no current will be flowing across this primary side and no current will be flowing across this secondary side. But here this inductor is there. Inductor will be already charged. So the charged inductor will try to discharge. So it will be checking for a path. So inductor will be having minus polarity here and plus polarity here when it is discharging. So the thing is that it will be dissipating across this load RL and it will come across like this, and from this center tapped side it will be splitting the current equally across S2 and S1. Okay, here it is positive now, so the diode D2 also will conduct and the diode D1 also will conduct, and each will be having whatever the current across inductor, it will be splitted here. So will be, each diode will be having half of that current. Understood? So both diode and D1 and D2 will be conducting when the switch SW1 and SW2 is off. So here you can see the across diode D1 current will be like this. Okay, it will be decreasing as the inductor current will be decreasing. So, and also same current will be having across D2 also, ID2. Okay, and also it will be also decreasing as the inductor is discharged. Okay, so voltage across SW1 and SW2 will be V in each. We have seen it is because as the primary winding it will be discharging, and across SW1 and SW2 it will be V in, and the inductor current starts decreasing from IL max to IL minimum as the inductor is discharging. And while inductor is discharging, it will check for a path, and diode D1 and D2 will be forward bias, and the whole current across inductor will be splitted across that center tapped equally across S1 and S2, secondary winding S1 and S2, and diode D1 and D2 will be forward bias. Okay, and that current will be reducing as the time passes. So inductor current start decreasing from IL max to IL minimum. Diode D1 and D2 both will be forward bias, and the total current split across diode D1 and D2. Inductor discharges energy through the freewheeling diode path D1 and D2. Okay, and third case is when SW2 is on. When SW2 is on means the voltage across SW2 will be 0, and voltage across SW1 will be V in plus V in. It will be 2 V in, as we have seen in this case, same case only, 2 V in, and the secondary side polarity will be reversed. The diode D1 will be reverse bias and the diode D2 will be forward bias. As the result of diode D2 is forward bias, the inductor will be charging, so inductor will be charging from IL minimum to IL maximum again. Diode D1 is for reverse bias, as the result current across D1 is 0, and diode D2 is forward bias, as the result the diode D2 current will be increasing. Okay, so, and the same cycle will be, then again both is off means same thing what we have seen here will be repeating here. Okay, so mode 3 dot and polarity will be negative with respect to non-dot, and diode D2 will be forward bias, D1 will be reverse bias. Through D2 inductor gets charged from minimum to ILX maximum. Voltage across SW2 is 0 and voltage across SW1 will be 2 V in. And also in the case of push-pull converter, if one switch is on, each primary winding will be having V in voltage, so the other switch will have to block 2 V in voltage. That is what I have shown here. When one switch is on, the other switch have to block 2 V in voltage. Okay, the other switch have to block 2 V in voltage. So device rating should be twice as desired output voltage. So that is what I told initially, that output voltage, if you required around 100 volt, the device rating should be twice as of that. That should be around 200 watt. Okay, so push pull converter devices have to block voltages which are twice V in the input side and twice VO in the output side. And push pull converter is used in medium power application, and the voltage stress across switch is high. That is what I have told, that device rating should be twice as that of the magnitude of the output voltage. Voltage stress in the case of push pull converter across switch is high, as switch have to block 2 V in voltage. So ultimately the cost will be high in the case of push pull converter. So this is all about push pull converter. If any doubt, please get back to me. Okay, so with this we will wind up today's lecture. So thank you.